Hello guys, it's Jose here again with another Husqvarna chainsaw review. Today I got on the tabletop the Husqvarna 562xp, well actually two of them. But both of these saws, being the same model, they both are 59.8 cc's. They both are 13.4 pounds, and they both are running 24-inch 3/8 pitch 050 Oregon bars and chains. One's a little bit newer than the other, but they both are great saws. They both feature auto tune. This one is a little bit older than this one. I had purchased both of these when they first came out, but what had happened was one of them had, I don't know, just because we ran that one more, it had blown up. So my uncle had actually had a saw break a few days after ours had blown up, and we purchased his because one of his guys dropped a tree on it. So you can see the damage here. They crushed the muffler, and the saw was in, that's this one actually, and the saw was, nothing happened to the case or anything like that, so we bought the saw for like $100 off of them and swapped the controls out from ours with the new motor, and saw runs great. Hasn't had any problems up until this day. Both of them have ran great. That one blew up, but I think it's just because we were using it day in and day out for so many years that it finally had enough. I don't fault the saw. They ran pretty hard when we use them. Both of them run great. Like I said, they both feature auto tune, so it automatically adjusts the carburetor for different factors that could affect how they run. All these saws feature rev boost, which if you're not familiar with the Husqvarna saw, it basically allows the engine to rev up faster, so the chain spins faster sooner. That's the difference between the Pro line and the Husqvarna 555, which runs basically the same thing. There's just different transfer ports and stuff like that cause the engine to run a little bit differently. Both of them, I'm going to take one down here just so it's out of the way. Both of them they're all made with magnesium cases now. They both feature Husqvarna's, spring anti-vibe like many of the other saws feature, just like the T540 I reviewed. They all run the spring anti-vibe. This saw actually has Husqvarna incorporated their single lever operator design, so up is full choke, and then you flip it down to start it, and then that's half choke, and then you just click the throttle like on the T540, excuse me, and then it is at the normal run. So you're ready to start it. It also has a purge bulb right here. This one, being the older one, does not have Husqvarna's quick flip fuel caps. However, I guess you don't need to over-engineer things. These caps they work just fine. It has Husqvarna's sight gauge for the fuel, so you can see here this saw has a full tank of fuel. It has a decompression valve, which on a 60cc saw, it's not terribly big, so you probably won't need a decompression valve to start it. Husqvarna recommends a max 28-inch bar. We run 24s just because we run these saws all day limbing. When we take down trees, we do urban forestry, so we use them to limb branches and stuff so we can get them out of backyards. But I've seen YouTube videos. Hot Saws 101, I believe, just posted a video a few days ago of his saw. He had a 562 that was ported and it was running a 32-inch bar, no problem. So Husqvarna recommends, and I'm sure it's for warranty purposes and stuff, that to not run over a 28. We run 24s. I see some guys run 18s and 20s. The saws run great. I mean, it has no problem with the 24 in hardwood as long as you keep your chain sharp. You can see in here it has it has 3 clips that allow you to get into the motor, which is very convenient for cleaning the air filter and stuff on the job. Just because, excuse me. So if you just need to do basic maintenance or change the plug, you can do it relatively easily. You can see here it has felt filter like most of the Husqvarna saws. This one's just, you can pop it straight off with the T-wrench and then you can work on whatever you need to. The saw's a little dirty because, like I said, it's used every day. They're just not working today because it rained. Like I said, these saws are all magnesium cases, so they're really strong. You shouldn't have any problems with them at all. It has a two-post chain brake like most of Husqvarna's new saws. I think only the 395 and the 3120 don't. It has the retained bar nuts like all their redesigned saws, so you don't have to worry about losing them if you're on a job and you have to, adjust the chain or anything like that. or you're changing it out, you won't have to worry about losing it. These saws run really good. You can see here that this saw has an outboard clutch, which some people prefer a inboard clutch. A lot of the Steels run inboard clutches just because of the fact that they're easier to work on. You have less, to take the clutch off or to get inside the clutch and stuff, it's a lot easier than using this. But for us, we use these saws, and all you got to do is just take it, and you can just hit it with the T-wrench and the hammer, and it spins right off. You can see here it says off. It's counterclockwise threads. This runs a rim sprocket. I've never had any issues with this as long as you keep it greased. You can see right here there's a little hole. You just clean that out with like the toothpick and the air compressor, and then you can grease the bearing in there. You should take it off every once in a while and clean out the bearing just so the saw runs well. You can see here's where the oil comes out for the bar and chain. This saw only has one side of dogs. It has holes here in the side plate so you can add the outside dogs, and you can get an option for bigger dogs, but for what we do, I mean, we're not logging huge trees. We take down big trees, but we have other saws like the 395 and the 3120 for that, so we're not really worried. This has a chain catch right here. You can see it's aluminum. You can see that obviously chains have been caught on it from guys not tightening them up enough. But overall, we run these saws day in and day out for a living. We used to run only 372s, but then we switched over just because these at first came out, and some people like them, some people don't. And I mean, that's like anything, brand preference. Some people prefer the MS362, but in my experience, these saws run great. We haven't had any problems with them. The nice thing is that they're light compared to the 372s. The 372s make really good power, and being a 70cc saw, it obviously makes more power, but they run great too. I haven't had any issues with the Husqvarna saws, but these saws in particular are nice because if you're running a 20 or 24 inch bar, one of them that we purchased originally came with a 20 inch bar just because they were out of stock of the 24 inch bars, but we switched it over once the chain wore out. But like I was saying, these saws are nice because you can climb with them, and it's not as heavy as the 372, so it's not as tiring. It's just any little difference like that when you're climbing makes a big difference. The only thing that I'd like to see on this saw is many of the Steel saws have the elasto start, and I guess what's the need to over-engineer things, but it would be nice to just see something when you're buying a professional saw. I think these are on sale right now for $6.99, but don't quote me on that. I think I just saw them on Husqvarna's website though for $6.99, but when you're paying that price, it'd be nice to just have something just in case you hit it on a compression stroke. Not that it's a terribly huge saw, but just in case you hit it on a compression stroke, it'll relieve you of that pressure on the arm so you're not pulling your arm out. But I mean, like I said, it's got a decompression valve, and the saws just run great. I mean, overall, with how great these saws run, I really don't think you need many other saws, just because the option to change out the bar and chain, you can definitely run, this saw is a limbing saw and then a bucking saw, but you don't need many other saws. The saw can definitely take the place of multiple classes. I know Husqvarna sells the 550xp, which is, was product of the year, I believe, a couple years ago, and they were very proud of making that saw, but I think this saw is almost better just because the extra displacement gives you the ability to, perform more work faster without that much weight gain. I think it's a good fit in between the 50 and 70 cc's. A 60cc saw will definitely allow you to have enough power, but also keeping the weight down. So with that being said, I don't think you can do much better than one of these saws. And then I have more reviews coming. I'm going to do some Steel reviews as well as some larger Husqvarna saws, whether it be the 372, the 395, and the big boy, the 3120. But thank you guys very much for viewing the video, and have a great day.